evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rates and Lanes podcast. I am your host, Rico Muhammad, and I am just trying to do a little bit of housekeeping really quickly. I'm trying to make sure that we are up and running across our different platforms. I think trying to make sure we got Instagram up and running. Let's see here. I'm hoping that's working. I can't confirm just yet. But anyway, without any further ado, welcome to the Rates and Lanes podcast. I'm your host, Rico Muhammad. Chuck Snow is working in the background really quickly. I think we have our guest up and on board. He was trying to get him up here. But just a little bit of housekeeping before we get underway. If you guys, ladies and gentlemen, would please like, share, and subscribe to the show. It helps us out tremendously, gets us into a bigger and broader algorithm across the platforms. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us out tremendously. And if you would do that for us, we'd be eternally grateful for you doing so. As you can see up on the screen, I have the current market conditions for dry vans across Canada and the United States. You can kind of make out what part of the country the areas in red are the places where you want to be for dry vans. And as you can see, there's a lot of blue on this map as well. But those are the current outbound capacity market conditions for dry vans. I'm going to switch over really quickly before I bring everybody up and on board. This is the outbound market conditions for flatbeds. As you can see, the flatbed is still having their day. A lot of the country is colored in red, and those are the hot spot areas where you want to be if you have a flatbed and you are operating in the spot market. And lastly, we have this chart here. This is the temperature controlled or reefer portion of the outbound market conditions. As you can see, all of the areas where produce season is in full swing, flowers are in full swing, getting prepared for Mother's Day. So those are the hotbed areas where you want to position yourself. And I got one more chart to go. But as you can see here, this is the fuel report for this week. We are down 21 cents from the previous week, showing the national average for diesel fuel right now holding strong at $5.40 per gallon on average. And really quickly, just to kind of put a bow on everything, these are the rates, outbound rates on average for each segment type. We're showing for dry vans, we're showing an outbound average rate for dry vans at $2.68 per mile. That's 1 cent lower from the previous week. We're showing outbound spot market flatbed rates on average on the spot market has jumped by 1 cent, showing an average of $3.46 per mile on average. And reefers has moved down, kind of come down a little bit. 3 cents lower from the previous week at an average of $3.12 per mile on average nationally. And with that being said, without any further ado, let me welcome in my co-host, Mr. Chuck Snow. Good evening, Chuck. How are you?
We're doing great, Rico. Looking forward to tonight's show with Mike, the Boston trucker.
Absolutely. And so I don't want to belabor the point, and I don't want to keep our guests waiting. So let's welcome Mike on into the show. Good evening, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing? I took a shower for this. I put a collared shirt on too, so I can represent myself here.
You and me both.
Yeah.
Good.
How you doing, Rico? Good to see you.
I'm doing well. Good to be seen and not viewed, as my grandfather always said.
That's right. I think this is my third time on the podcast. Do I get like a robe or something for this?
I don't know. We might have to try to come up with something for you there.
A director's chair.
Yeah. You guys have any merch?
How have you been since the last time we had you on the show?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Yeah, I can't complain. Working hard, trucking every day, and doing that social media deal, and hanging in there, taking care of the family, and doing pretty well.
Things are busy in Boston, I take it, in your area?
Yeah, nonstop.
Remind us, Mike. You say trucking up every day? Remind us what it is that you got going on that end.
I'm mesmerized by that swimming pool behind you. Is that actually your house, or is that a background?
That's. I wish.
Nice.
I want to jump in there.
The marvels of modern technology.
I'm like, Chuck's paying you too much money for this podcast, obviously. What do I do? Trucker. So I guess most people don't know who I am. Trucker, 36 years. I don't look like a trucker today, but I am a trucker, just like Chuck and you both. And 20 years over the road, pretty much. And the last 15, 16 years local. I got off the road to raise my kids. I was fortunate enough to be able to do that and have done that, and with my wife, of course. And local, hauling aggregates, heavy equipment, snow plowing, just trucking home every day, 10 hours a day, 11 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. It's good. It's a good living. Absolutely.
How far do you, I know you're domiciled in Boston. How far do you go? What's the furthest you ever travel?
Not like within 60. I don't go very far.
Okay.
It's I do about 300 miles a day in the city in traffic, stop and go mostly, but
that's a lot. You know what?
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of driving.
Your truck's not an automatic either, is it?
No. My company is only buying automatics. They told me they were getting me a new truck about 3 years ago, and it was going to be an automatic. And I've been with the company for, I think at that point, 11, 12 years, senior driver. And I resigned pretty much. Not because I wasn't happy, but I had to take a stand because I just wasn't ready for it. And thankfully, because I knew I was making a huge mistake by leaving, even though I had a good place to go. I wasn't. Here's a quick story.
Yeah, please.
I wasn't looking for a job, but there was this thread of the automatics coming up in the background, and I happened to come upon an ad from a local company that says, "If you like old trucks, this place is for you." And so I got a little curious, and I knew the guy who put up the ad, and we just started talking. And next thing you know, I'm like, I think I'm quitting my job for this. And it was like an old 379 with and I'm like, and my gut was telling me I was making a huge mistake because I have a really good place that I work right near my house.
Oh.
And me and my bosses worked it out, and he ordered me a brand new truck. He said, get whatever you want. And I got what I wanted, a 900 with an 18 speed, and I'm happy. So very happy.
Yeah,
it was the right decision. Well, sometimes you got to take a stand, even if it's detrimental to everything that's good in your life.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing that people in leadership at your company actually realize that, because to lose a good driver over something what may seem as trivial as equipment choice, but if that's what it takes to keep you there. I mean, it's much better than the industry average, where the churn is well above 100%, because people just don't recognize the value of keeping a good driver.
I mean, if I left, the dirt still would have got hauled, the equipment still would have got moved. They would have lost a guy who keeps a clean truck and represents the company well, but the job will still happen. But I think in the big scheme of things, they realize, if I would stay till retirement now, if they just give me a decent truck that I want, then I'm proud to drive, and I represent them all over the social media. So it was a good decision on both ends.
Yeah, that's a huge value proposition that you also offered. That's simply what I'm saying. I mean,
absolutely, and they gave me a good raise too.
Yeah.
Some money. It wasn't about money, but they gave me a good raise and a good incentive, and they're like family to me. So I'm glad.
I'm glad it worked out. But you can understand where a large company that has hundreds of trucks say, I'm sorry, you know what? We just put an order in for 300 trucks and we can't make one an automatic.
Yeah, that's happening. And that's a real thing with these going up. I was just following a post on Facebook. I won't mention the guy's name. He drives for Blackjack Express at Arkansas. And they recruited all these elite drivers to come work there over the last year or two. with these beautiful rigs, long wheelbase
Right.
Pete's, spread axles, and good money. And the guys are saying they're making good money, and they just are going to Volvos and getting rid of all those big rides. And all those drivers are like, we're out of here. But where are they going to go? Because it's becoming, few and far between that you're going to find a company that pays good and has those old school rides.
Yeah. You know what? And you can't afford, like, with what you do, a company can afford to have Peterbilts, a long nose Pete's, because you know what? Fuel, everybody knows on a long nose Pete, you don't buy those things for fuel mileage.
Yeah. What we do, I'm getting 4 miles a gallon no matter what we drive, all our trucks, that's it.
Yeah, but you haul heavy. You're hauling in inner city, basically. That's it's just a bad combination for fuel efficiency.
Yeah. Absolutely.
How did you share with our listeners? How did you get to be the spokesman for Shell Rotella? You're a great spokesman, by the way. They couldn't have a better guy.
I heard you label me as the spokesman for Shell Rotella. That's not really true, but okay. I am
I'm a liar. I can't.
No. I'm officially not, but I guess I do talk about it a lot because I'm affiliated with the great company Shell Oil. They reached out to me 2017 because they liked my videos, and they brought me along to all their Super Rig truck shows, and I covered the shows on social media. And then 3 or 4 years ago, they made me a Super Rigs judge, and so they bring me to Mid America Truck Show every year. I'm at the Shell Rotella booth, hanging out, just being myself and shooting video and meeting with subscribers, everybody that comes through, and then I do a Super Rigs judge every year. So it's nice to go from trucking to truck show stuff that I love, that I've been involved with since the 90s. And I guess I am Mr. Shell Rotella in a way on the trucking side. And
so they're basically
great people. And I feel bad when I saw you, Chuck, at Matt's. It was a crazy day. You always come by and say hello. And there was a million things going on, and I spent like a minute with you, and then you were off and I was off, and I didn't get to spend any quality time with you. But
you know what? I totally
it's the same for everybody like that, Matt.
Yeah, because you really only have 2 days, because I don't call Saturday a day there. I stay away from there on Saturday. Yeah. That's a zoo. It's just so busy.
Right.
So basically, you got involved with Shell Rotella basically by your affiliation with your company and just your social media presence.
Yeah, they reached out to me out of the blue in 2017, and they were like, "Hey, we have Super Rigs coming up, and it's in a different location every year." That year was Tulsa. We want you to come, just do social media, be yourself. And I thought it was a fake. So I deleted it, and then a week later, we didn't hear from you. And, oh, this is real. They're like, yeah, we want you to come. We'll pay you. We'll take care of your expenses. And then I kept doing it. And then there was an opening for a judge when Steve Sturgis passed away, the great Steve Sturgis, and I slid into that position, and I've been doing that ever since. And just awesome people, like just nothing negative, no drama, just good people who really love the industry and love the drives and love putting on a good show. And we do the best we can. So we have, and the Super Rig show is coming up. What's that?
They make great products too.
Great products for your trucks. Yeah. I mean, who does? I mean, we've been using Shell Rotella forever. And Super Rigs is coming up June 25th through the 28th. We're going to be at Bristol Motor Speedway this year, Tennessee. So looking forward to
Tennessee.
that.
That's close to Rico's neck of the woods.
Yeah, they were down in Atlanta, I think, either last year. When were you guys down in Atlanta?
We were at Atlanta Motor Speedway last year, and the year before we were in Fort Worth at the Speedway there. So, yeah. Where are you, Rico? I can't remember.
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, you didn't stop by?
No, I didn't. I think I might have been working when you guys were having the show down there at the Speedway. I'm familiar with it, but I was.
Okay.
I think I might have been working. I was trying to get off to get down that way, but I had a demanding customer at the time, and I just couldn't seem to pry myself away.
You had one of the few demanding customers. They got scarce for a while, but they're back now.
So Mike,
Mike,
tell me
let me
with
ask
everything.
you your take on this whole thing. You know, you and I have talked before about the culture of the industry, and you know, we talk about 100% turnover, and when you have 100% turnover, you're destroying culture. And now we've had this big thing, which I'm sure you're well aware of, super ego, where it looks like they've
Yeah.
just gone through countless hundreds of people, burned them up and spit them out. And those people will never come back into this industry because they lost so much money and they're so disenchanted.
Yeah.
What do you think we can do as a community to stop this?
You know, I saw that story, and like as soon as that story was over, I kept seeing more and more super egos, thinking I thought that maybe that would shut it down, but all of a sudden they were everywhere. I didn't notice them that much before. And everyone I see, it's a different truck with a different name, the piece of paper on the door. And yeah, I mean we need to start self-policing somehow. Um it's tough. It's like the sweatshop on wheels thing we talk about. That's what it is. And
Great.
I don't know how they recruit these guys. They sell them a Bubba Mitza. Chuck, you can explain to Rico what that means.
Grandmother's tale.
And yeah. They sell them a story and a tale of how much money they're going to make. And these guys are working for nothing, but it's the same old story in trucking. You know, you really need to talk to other people who are doing it and get all the facts, because these recruiters and these companies, all they want you to do is get behind the wheel of their truck and sell it and make them money. They're not about you making money. You end up in the hole and either injured or disenchanted or broke, or it's terrible, or in an accident. I mean, it's the same people having these accidents.
Above, and that's the huge thing that is concerning. It's so concerning. I sent Chuck. I sent you a email, a clip of a guy on social media that's running. He kind of, his whole thing is kind of running with the Russians. Is his whole little spiel. And unfortunately, he's not the only one, and Super Ego is not the only company. And people are out there. I mean, it is absolutely mind-boggling the amount of stuff that people will put on social media of the illegal activities that they are doing in a in a federally regulated industry. If something, God forbid.
But when did this all start, though? When did this all really
happened? I remember when it started, but it was nowhere near. It was pretty benign. When deregulation happened, this started, but it was nothing. It was with the influx, and I hate to. We got an influx of Eastern Europeans and Southeast Asians from all over. It's not one country or the other. And they just looked at it as these
we were
laws.
Right for the picking.
Yeah, these laws are nothing. This is like a parking ticket. This is the cost of doing business, where everybody else is building a business. I would fire drivers if they did something wrong, like got a ticket for something stupid, or if they rear-ended a car. That was it. They were gone. I don't care.
And well, not only that, because it was driven into, I think, as part of the culture here in the United States. It was pretty much made clear that, hey, if you are dispatching, you're coercing drivers to drive beyond limits and everything, that you could be held liable, that you could actually go to jail, that, you know, somebody would come and put those silver bracelets on you. And when you have companies that are based overseas, that don't have to worry about any repercussion of their actions, so they can continue to manipulate ELDs, reset clocks, continue to push drivers beyond their limits, because who has jurisdiction over in a whole nother country? Who's going all the way over there, you know, to go make something happen? And then not only that, they're not vested in, their families aren't the ones that are being put in danger driving up and down the highways as our families are. So they really don't have, there's no repercussions that they have to fear. And I think that's one of the things that we have to put some teeth in the regulation, to where if you're going to be in this industry, somebody needs to be able to be held accountable for all of these actions. Somebody needs to be, if you have dispatchers that are pushing drivers, resetting clocks, and doing all the stuff that is alleged to have been going on, somebody needs to be held accountable. Somebody needs to be able to, FBI needs to be able to go knock on somebody's door, put some handcuffs on somebody, and they need to have a day in court for these actions.
Well, it seems to be a lot of tough talk lately in the news, trucking news, Sean Duffy, but it's got to happen a lot faster than just talking about it. And like, just shut these places down, and then the rates are going to go back up, and it's just got to happen. And it's too little, too late. But I think it could happen if they really get serious about it and listen to drivers, and guys like you guys. Something could happen. It's got to get.
I think that's the only way. If we get rid of the bad actors, okay, and we all have to sing off the same song sheet, and there's no starting. A driver drives 11 hours and giving him a fresh clock. That cannot happen, okay?
Yeah.
Because when you do things like that, first of all, you're endangering a lot of people's lives, and you have an unfair advantage. And I realize nothing's fair in life, but still, that's unfair. That's no different than a guy packing a truck full of drugs or pistols and taking them across the border. It's the same thing. It's not how you do business, and you can't run a food factory by taking tainted beef and putting it in your hamburgers. You have to protect the public if you're running a packing house. This is the same thing. It's no different. It's about protecting the public.
And at the end of the day as well, drivers have, I'm not absolving and I'm not pointing the finger at the big boogeyman. Somebody's making somebody do something. At the end of the day, if you are a driver, you are the captain of that ship.
100%.
You ultimately hold 100% responsibility, whether somebody is pressing you to continue driving beyond your limits or whatever. There's no one that is in that truck, at least I don't think so, holding a gun to your head, making you continue on down the road. At some point, this is not the 1970s, 1980s no more. There is so much technology, and you think that they're cooking the books. We can reset the log books, or if I have an older truck, I can continue to run paper logs. There's no way around that you can beat this technology nowadays. They have all kind of flock cameras that are taking pictures of VIN numbers, of truck tags. No matter how many times you may change the name on the side of the truck, you cannot get away from the technology. Cell phone towers, all they can triangulate your position to read the designer label on the back of your blue jeans.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way, and I think that people have to stop thinking that you're smarter than the system. You might be able to fudge here, a little bit there, but some of the stuff, the stories that I'm hearing and stuff that I'm seeing, when nobody wakes up that morning that they have a horrific accident planning to have that accident.
No.
And once it goes bad and you're left there holding the bag, you're going to rue the day. You're going to rue the day, because the consequences behind that, I'm not sure if you're really ready to pay that price. And no amount of money that you think that you're making in the short term is worth risking your freedom and your life over.
And it's all short-term gains, because if you don't get in an accident, you're abusing your health.
Exactly.
And so all that running you did for the last 6 months, now you're in a rehab somewhere, spending it, and because you got thrombosis in your leg, or you whatever. It's just it's true. These guys that run that way, they don't live in mansions. Have you noticed that?
No, they don't. And we always used to warn our drivers, do not, if you sign off on your pre-trip that you check those brakes, you better well have checked those brakes, because if you didn't and somebody gets killed, you're going to jail. I've got insurance for an accident, but I have no insurance to keep your ass out of jail.
Yeah.
And you have to and that's how it goes. And I don't think these drivers understand the the legal consequences when they put their name that they've done something that they haven't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not against personally, running over hours or running hard if you're an adult and you're not tired. Personally, done it. Chuck, I know you've done it.
We've
I don't
all
know about
done it.
Rico. But
He's a fireboy.
unfortunately, there's all this overregulation now that, like Rico said, it's your ass if you get caught, and it's your family's existence that's going to pay, and it's going to keep you from getting another job. And you got to play by the rules. Unfortunately, those are the rules that are in there now. So you just got to play. The guy who plays the game the best is the one who really wins. But sometimes you're not really the winner in the end.
And the thing about it is, like I said, with all this technology now, and I've always kind of, call me a goody two shoes or a square or whatever. Now, have I ever ran a little bit over on my logbook? Of course, we all have.
We all have.
Done that. But honestly speaking, my I get asked all the time. Sometimes I have to make a phone call. Well, baby, I'm not gonna be able to make it home tonight. I'm not gonna be able to do this X, Y, and Z because I'm too close on time. And I got, I always talk about my grandfather. He coined another phrase that he coined to me is that, son, I got buzzard luck. We got buzzard luck. We can't kill nothing, won't nothing die. So I don't want to get in a position of giving someone a stick to beat me with, so to speak. And I'll if I could get it, usually if something bad is gonna happen, I'm gonna get caught. I gotta stay on the right side of the law because anytime I try to run a foul, it always seems to bite me in the ass. So I always just say it's just easier to just do it the right way.
Yeah.
Well, if you do it enough times, it will bite you. And if you're always running over on your logs, it will bite you in the rear end at some point. It's got to. It's the law of averages.
And at the end of the day, we have to get back to a point of, I was listening to some of the guys from OOIDA today, and we got to get back to we really need to get to a point to where we are properly compensating people for the work that they're performing. One of the things that they're pushing is for trucking insurance to raise the limits of trucking insurance. That's fine and dandy because they say that they claim that the insurance has not been they haven't raised the limits of insurance in like 40 years, and that's true. But also, driver pay hadn't reflected inflation as well. You still got drivers making the same amount of money as they made back when those regulations were. So
I agree, but you know what? It's funny. Good drivers get paid well. Bad drivers don't. And if you're a good driver, you have a good driving record. And you know what? If you want to be a dry van driver, you go work for Walmart at $100,000 a year or something.
Right.
Speaking of that, I drove for Walmart and was making $100,000 a year, and they're not making much more money than that now. And that was 30 years ago, which is interesting because I know a lot of Walmart drivers. They're making about the same amount of money, and I don't understand that. 30 years later, those guys should be making $200,000 a year by inflation.
Yeah, but it's better than the $60,000 these drivers were making at the place they went before.
100%. And that's why they stay and take it on the chin as much as they have to just for that money.
Yeah. Whenever Walmart had a recruiting booth at one of these shows, there was always a lineup of drivers for Walmart.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I'd like to ask Mike while we got him on here as well before we get ready to wrap up, because a lot of people have this thing of wanting to be their own man, wanting to be their own boss, so to speak. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a company driver. You work for a company.
Always been a company, man. That's all I'll ever be. But my dad was an owner operator.
So please share with everyone.
Sure.
The benefits where because everybody tries to make it seem like, oh, it's so much greater on the other side of the table, being an owner operator, being able to call your own shot. But how much less stress do you have when at the end of the day you completed your shift and you can go home and you don't necessarily have to tend to making
Well,
sure that all the maintenance and everything else is correct.
I got no stress at the end of the day as far as the job goes and the truck goes. And if something's broken on the truck, tell the boss this is broken. My biggest stress is making sure my truck is clean for the next shift. That's about it. Owner operator, my dad was a company guy for 25 years and an owner operator for 25 years. So I've seen both sides. I've talked about buying trucks a number of times. Dad always talked me out of it. I said, Dad, but you said you would never go back to being a company driver again. He goes, I wouldn't. So how can you talk me out of it? But it just depends. It's really an individual thing. Some guys are really good at being owner operators. They're smart businessmen, and they're really good with tools and wrenching. And that is what you have to be a successful owner operator. You can't be paying people every minute to change your oil and grease your truck. As a company guy, they grease, they oil, you change the oil, they fix it. Benefits, holidays, vacation, raises. That's huge. You don't get those things when you own your own truck. So, I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons. To me, it always seems like the company driver was the way to go if you can, make a good living at it and drive a cool ride.
A good company, right? Find a good company that's going to value
cool truck. With a cool truck is number one. But they paid well. So a lot of companies have cool trucks, but they don't pay well either. So that's
right.
That's tough.
I know I'm not going to mention their name, but there's one flatbed company in the U.S. They're located in, I think, Wisconsin and California. And they've got these gorgeous Petes, all long-nosed Peterbilts. And guys are lined up to work there.
Yeah.
And they pay a pittance compared to what other companies pay. But guys want to drive those big, beautiful Peterbilts.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, I've taken jobs because of the truck when I was younger. I've left jobs. I left the job. I worked for this company out of Minnesota at a show truck, and they got bought out by a company out of Tennessee, Covenant. Right. And they said, we're getting rid of your nice 379 and giving you a Freightliner condo. And I said, I don't drive Freightliners, and I quit. Now, 2 years later, I drove Freightliners for the next 10 years, but for companies that paid really, really, really well.
Right.
And I came to like them too. So
so you do have a price.
I guess so. I guess it is about money.
And you know what, Mike? I hate to break it, but your next truck, when you wear this one out, may have to be an automatic because they may not make manual.
Retirement, Chuck. I'm coming out to hang with you at the garage. That's it.
We can drive around with my manual twin stick trucks together.
There you go. You can show me how to drive that baby. Absolutely.
Apparently you won't have any problem. You drove Dean's, which is the same principle, I think.
Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Oh, I'm sure you will. What truck shows are you going to this summer?
I'm trying to cut back a little. I've been going like 8 to 10 a year.
Right.
Because I enjoy them and I bring my truck. But I'm trying to spend a little more family time, a little less truck showy, a little more working. But the next one for me is Super Rigs, then Gear Jammer in New Hampshire. And we have a nice antique show here in Bolton, Massachusetts, a great show. And I'm going to go. We have another show in the Big Apple Truck Show and Levesque. I got about six on my plate, but Super Rigs is the big one coming up next.
You don't go to the big American Truck Historical Society show, do you?
I'm not. I've been going to Macungie the last couple of years. No, I haven't made to that. I don't get that much. I have like 2 to 3 weeks vacation time, and with the kids and stuff, it's hard to get away.
Oh, Macungie, I won't miss that one. Cost me a fortune there last year. I saw a truck and I bought it.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the best show.
It is, and the people are so nice, and the amount of it's not a huge. It's a good sized show, but compared to the big ATHS show, it's not.
The shows are great. You meet the people you meet your people at the shows. Right. We're all there for the same reason.
I don't know if I can talk on behalf of you guys, but I know damn well I'm a misfit, And the only time I'm not a misfit is when I go to a truck show.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
normal.
100%. I'm so socially awkward. Like even doing things like this, I feel socially awkward inside. When I'm making videos, I'm just talking to the camera. I'm not talking to really people. But when I go to a truck show, I can come to life, and we're all there. We're all misfits, kind of in our own way. That's why we all love each other.
That's right. I totally agree with you.
So, Mike, how do people find you, Mike? How do they get in? How do you get in contact with you? Where are you most active? Which social media platforms are you most active on?
Sure. Number one, YouTube, the Boston Trucker YouTube. I'm also the Boston Trucker and on Instagram and TikTok. But YouTube's the place. I make weekly videos, 1, 2, 3 a week. I'm either working videos where I'm just got the camera rolling while I'm working, all hands free, or I do a lot of interviews with old school truck drivers. That's my favorite thing to do. Is go to somebody's garage and hang out by their trucks and just talk to them about the old days, because a lot of these guys they're leaving us. So let's get their stories and history for their family. And I enjoy that a lot. I just did a really great one recently, a 2-parter. I mean, the stories are just crazy. You like them. Yeah.
You know what? Those are the people that built America. When you think of it, when some of those people started driving, the interstate system wasn't even complete yet.
Yeah.
They were driving in the late 40s and early 50s. Some of them. There's a guy that you probably know him, Bill Fuse. That guy's a legend. Been doing it for 60 odd years, and he's cutting his fleet down because he can't get drivers.
That guy's incredible.
I know.
Just curious, Mike. So, what prompted you to kind of get started doing that? What made you? What was your?
It wasn't anything thought out. I put a video up. I've been on YouTube forever, since 2009.
Uh-oh.
Mike froze. Must be cold up in Boston.
I think he may pop back in.
Right,
there it
back.
Okay.
No, I just made a video for my son and put it on YouTube so I could save it, and this would make a video here and there. I didn't really take it too seriously until about 4 or 5 years ago. You make a few dollars on YouTube. It's a good little soul, but I do it because I enjoy it. I would make videos no matter what. I love recording history, and my job is I do a lot of the same things. And when I tell people maybe I won't make a work video this week, they're like, "Oh, you got to make one." I'm like, "I'm doing the same thing I did last week, but as long as people enjoy it, I'll keep doing it." It is a lot of work making videos and editing and things, but I enjoy it, so it's nice. There you go.
Well, if you enjoy your work, you never really have to work one day of your life.
Exactly. That's what they say. Yeah.
So how did you learn to do? You said editing and everything.
Oh, I self-taught, very technical challenge. As you can see, I was late to this podcast because I don't have a laptop. And Chuck said, "Oh, all you need is a laptop, and we'll send you a link." And he didn't know I was sweating and had to get my wife to get me her laptop and get me set up on it last night so I'd be ready. And I still was 2 minutes late. But I do everything on my phone. I use like a editing for dummies type app that I've been using for 15 years, and it works. So it gets a little better every week. You can see my progression from 2009 to now. It's miles. It's beyond what it used to be. So
good stuff. So what would you inspire some other people that are out there that are thinking maybe they've kind of been playing with the idea of making some videos or something like that? What advice would you have?
Sure. First go to college and get an education. Don't depend on being a social media star. Like a lot of people I know, I think they're just going to strike it rich, and
doesn't work that way.
You just got to do it. You can't take it seriously. You have to just do it because you like it. And if it catches, it catches. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I know some great trucker video makers that never seem to catch on. Mine, I'm still kind of underground. I am known around the world somehow. Like when I go places, people know me, but I don't have a huge audience. So
Right.
it rings true with a lot of people and it gets spread around, but you just got to do it because you like it. That's all. Yeah.
Good
I
stuff.
totally
Good
agree.
stuff. So and so you just no fancy equipment, none of that stuff, no drones, any of that stuff.
No, GoPro. I did my phone up till about 4 years ago. Now I buy GoPros. I used to buy the most expensive GoPro, and I would break them. And I said, GoPro is here's the secret about GoPro. You can buy a cheap version 5-6 years old, and it does the same thing as the newer ones. I swear to God. So when I break them now, I'll go buy a $200 GoPro off Amazon or
Right.
off the GoPro site instead of buying another $600, $700, $800 camera that does the same thing. You can't tell the difference.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And that's it. I don't have mics. I should get mics, but I don't have mics. I don't have lighting. It's just kind of.
Well, you do a damn good job for a
Thank
guy
you.
that has limited equipment.
Thank you.
It's first class, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Not bad for a guy who dropped out of high school because he wanted to go trucking.
Well, I think that's most of our stories around here.
Yeah. It worked. It all worked out in the end. So,
except my buddy Rico there, who drove the school bus in high school.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was during my high school days. That was. They said they were advertising that they needed truck drivers. Bus drivers. You only needed to be 18. They was gonna train you and everything. And I thought, hey, this would be a cool way to meet some girls across town. So,
And he knew where they lived.
so that's basically how I got into it.
Wow, that's cool. That's how there's a YouTuber named Bethany. She goes by the Girl Driver. Very, very company driver. Then she became an owner operator. But she started by driving the college bus, and then now she's a big time owner operator with a huge audience. And so hey, you can start out small and work your way up. I remember my wife said to me when we first started dating, and she knew nothing, that she didn't know any truck drivers, and she goes, "Oh, so you drive a truck? Do you ever want to do something else driving where you'll make more money?" And I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Be a school bus driver?" And I'm like, "Yes." I go, "They probably make a lot less." She goes, "Yeah, but they have such precious cargo. You think they would get paid a lot of money?" I go, "Yeah, you would think that, but it's not. That's not how it goes."
No.
There's a hierarchy. Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
Yeah. Some of the worst drivers out there are school bus drivers.
Yeah, and it's terrible. That's an industry that really needs to be checked and from the top down. So
yeah, but they can't get drivers.
I know. Well, they need to pay better and they need to train better.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's the number one thing when they kept harping on there's a driver shortage. There was a shortage in adequate and quality pay, and that's the main thing.
Yeah.
Anything else, you're gonna get what you get out what you put in, and we got to do a better job of making sure that we got people properly trained, but also properly paid and compensated for what it is that we're asking them to do.
But I mean, how many decades have we been saying the same things?
Well,
preaching to the choir.
In 1976 or 1978, by standards, and I read this about 5 years ago, if you took the money a truck driver made back then, which is 50 years ago, it would work out to over $90,000 a year today. Oh, that was like 5 years ago, so it'd be even more.
Well, I think adjusted for inflation and everything, the average pay that drivers got back in the day, it would put us somewhere in the ballpark of about $125,000 on average if everything was adjusted out properly for inflation.
Yep.
And that's why I say when they keep harping on this piece of upping the insurance limits, that you keep adding costs to the equation, but you're not adding compensation to the equation. You got to you can't. The scale has to be balanced some way or somehow. And I'm not against the increase in insurance pay. Just make sure that the compensation, the ends justify the means. That's all I say.
I agree.
And you have to make it more attractive to want to do that job. Who wants to drive over the road and be on a 34-hour break, not getting paid, away from your wife and kids?
And I don't think that enough people understand how difficult this job truly is. I really don't think that people just they order their packages. It magically shows up on the door, and everything gets there, and they don't understand how much free time. I think that they say the average over the road truck driver gives away 30 hours a week just sitting at a dock.
Unreal, yeah. That's crazy. Who would want to do that? Like if you knew that getting in and you're in driving school, these are the things they don't teach you in driving school.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people wash out, because that mentally that's a lot to go through, especially you're sitting somewhere for that amount of time. At some places, and Lord have mercy, don't be at a grocery warehouse or something like that. You're sitting there for hours on end and you're not being compensated for it. That is, you talk about deflating. I think that really does a job on people's mental, especially when it comes to getting into this industry that are fresh and they're not prepared for that type of reality. And like, man, I was doing better working at McDonald's than.
Well, I don't think there's one truck driver that hasn't multiplied in the head going down the road how many hours they put in a week and what they're actually making, and that just gets you right here, and that's all you think about after that. On top of all the other pressures of life.
You know what? At least back years ago, we had the love of it because it was fun. And we weren't as restricted in so many ways, where today I could see a young person after the third time they have to do a 34-hour reset in a strange city at a truck stop in the middle of nowhere saying, you know what, I've had enough of it.
On the positive side, though, and I wish I had done this over the road, was I do see people enjoying the country a little more.
Yes.
Where if I got a break, I was in a truck stop sleeping or watching the girls go from truck to truck to truck. And now I see people taking Ubers and going out to dinner, and which is expensive. Now you're on the road to make money. Now you're spending money, but at least you're taking the opportunity to, at least when they say you want to see the world and see the country, they're at least doing it instead of just seeing truck stop to truck stop.
Yes, absolutely. You definitely can make you definitely can if you adequately plan and put yourself in positions. And nowadays, it's a lot easier. Sometimes with the advent of Uber and different things like that, it's easier to get out and about and do some different things. But it is, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You make it, you know what I'm saying? You kind of make it what you make it out to be. And you have the right personality, the right mental attitude.
It's all about your attitude.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's a better job. The over-the-road stuff is a much better job for a single person than it is for
absolutely
a married person with a family. Because you know what? When you're away from your wife and kids for doing a 34-hour reset, you don't feel like going and renting a bicycle. You don't feel like taking an Uber, because that's money your family's not getting. So you can go see a movie in town with a $30 cab ride each way.
Right. Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I think we're coming up on that time. But before we get out of here, Mike, please tell everyone again where they can find you, where they can follow you and keep up with you.
Find me on the Rates and Lanes podcast. Yeah.
We'll have you again.
I'm happy to be back. Thanks for reaching out. And the Boston Trucker on YouTube. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Mike. We appreciate you for taking the time out of your schedule to come on and join.
It's a pleasure always. Anytime.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Well, Chuck, let the good folks know how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, if anybody needs me, just send me an email, chucksnow280@outlook.com. Put your phone number there, and I will get back to you and solve any problem I can. And with that, Rico, I'll let you back her in a hole for another week.
No problem. Well, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you took some time to hang out with us. We're always eternally grateful for you doing so. If you would, please like, share, and subscribe, comment. It helps us out tremendously, puts us out in a bigger, broader algorithm. It doesn't cost you a dime, but it helps us out. So if you would, please continue to do that. And with that being said, we want you guys to continue to stay safe out there, stay healthy, keep it in between the mustard and the mayonnaise, and God willing, we'll talk at you same time, same place next week. God bless you and good night.
Catch on a flip flop. God bless.